Hi, host Eric here, host Talking with Fans People. Freaking Metasoap. Wow. Hey. And no quitting you. And there's no teaching you a lesson, obviously. You're not going to be dissuaded by me smacking you around. I got that. I understand that. Great. I respect that 100%. But, you know, it's a lot easier to make videos than type big long things. I was typing something and I was like, why am I typing all this shit? Here we go. Go down her ridiculous comments here. He wins the arguments by being outlouding the other party and judging the arguments himself. I don't claim to win those arguments. Most of them end in a wash. To win an argument in real life requires the other person to concede. Most people aren't honest enough to do that. I expressed this to her right in the comments here. I actually win almost no arguments. I do hopefully successfully debunk some unwarranted claims, at least from the perspective of a viewer. Hopefully, again, hopefully, I can only hope that. Metasoap then says, which viewer perspectives are you claiming to have, oh omnipotent one? Read more carefully, Metasoap. I'm going to put the... Hopefully. I don't know. I don't have access to their perspectives at all. So I can just hope. I point out that most people are insufficiently honest with themselves. When I say most people, I mean almost everybody. They're insufficiently honest with themselves to make any real intellectual progress. When doing so requires them to detach from their axioms or near axioms, especially if they have their ego, identity tied in with their abstract systems. I actually don't, because I'm NE, dumb. I can toss this shit aside in a second. It won't bother me. I don't have to have this model or that model, you know? It doesn't matter. I know what's right and wrong, still. And I know that my model is, if I'm in disagreement with you, that's resolvable. I wish I were wrong more frequently. It's great when I am. It gives me a good example. And more importantly, I learn shit, you know? But it does require a certain amount of humility or the ability to face up to some hard truths. So let's go down and look at Metasoap's additional points. I point out in my next comment to clarify, the reason you're still spitting venom at me is that I won't allow your arbitrary statements to go unchallenged. Your negative feelings come out because you are internally conflicted. As a not 20 years old TI Dom, you spent years refining your understandings of things and become attached to the apparent invulnerability of relativism. To discover now just how vulnerable moral cultural relativism is has got to be a shock to the system. Now look, Metasoap interprets this as arrogance, right? Like, oh, Eric thinks he's winning the argument. I don't. You keep bringing me into it, Metasoap. What I'm saying is I'm presenting ideas that debunk what you're saying, right? You don't have any answer to them. You sort of can't really continue to make the claims because I keep asking the same questions. You don't have any answers for them. You keep double binding yourself. You keep moral skepticism, your own shit, and it collapses, as it always does. You don't have any answer to that except, oh, everything's subjective. Well, you know, what you're doing here is losing the thing that matters. It's not the debate. It's not the argument. You're losing every human being's battle with frailty. We all have human frailties. We all accept and embrace wrongness in certain areas because it's easier for us. Easier for our egos. We all do. Me too. And our most important job in life is to become honest with ourselves, about ourselves. So, Metasoap says here, you do not win against INTPs. The debates you have are not based on quality. I mean, you're just so obviously resentful and bitter here. There's no other way to put it. I don't always win against INTPs. When I first started battling Kimball, she beat me every single time at first. We never really had super formalized debates, but we did. We demoed rounds. She usually win at first. After I figured out what she was doing, she didn't win anymore. But you see, she was doing basically what you do, okay? Except she's doing it way better. Way better. She's a beast. Now there's a fucking INTP. I tell you, Metasoap, if you want to model yourself after somebody, if you want to make these kind of arguments, do it right. You know? She knows what she's doing, you see? And we both, you see, unlike you, when I win a point, she'd say, okay, I can see that warrant. That warrant's off the table. I drop that, or I kick it, or I concede it, so that we can make progress. We can move forward. And one of us can, we can resolve a point in dispute, either if it's a real life point, or we can determine who's right or wrong if it's an abstract point. Okay, so it's very important to do that, critical to do that, or else you'll end up embarrassing yourself like you're embarrassing yourself right now. I don't win all the debates. I never claim I did. I don't think I'm a great debater in a structured debate format, particularly. I don't think I can beat my kids half the time. Why? I'm terrible on the flow. I'm sloppy. I concede all these things. You're the one who keeps calling me God and omnipotent, not me. I don't think that at all. I do think, however, strongly, that when you go, we have 4 pieces of fruit here, and I show you this is 3 oranges and 2 apples. That's 5 fruits. I expect that person to say, my bad. Now, let's get to the part of her comments that are most interesting. Analogies are not replacement for actual substance. The thing about analogies is that the fundamental idea needs to be an interesting one. Analogies highlight the intrigue of an idea or the opposite. So I want to phrase this better so that I want to make her arbitrary claim into an actual argument. So I'm going to help her here by doing that. Because right now, she's just making sounds again. What she's trying to say is an analogical argument is one that compares 2 relationships. And the strength of the argument is contingent upon the strength of the link between the 2 relationships and contingent upon the nature of the mechanism being compared. And that's absolutely true. Now, Metasoap, in which of those analogical arrangements would you have more substance and less? Or are all analogical relationships equally substance-free? Which alternative particular model of cognition are you recommending as the preferable alternative to analogical reasoning? Do you want to have only observational data included in a debate, even if we're only talking about abstract models? Are you sure? Do you not think that it's possible for us to know things about how we think by observing internally? Do you think it's not possible that relationships between comparable individuals in a given set might be informative to the topic just as much as a piece of data? Both are subject to their own form of weakness, right? Data is taken out of context, abused all the time. The only reason data is meaningful at all is if you've successfully controlled for variables and successfully identified all the possible variables. The stuff that you want is no more solid. And first of all, you don't want it. You're just grasping. You're looking for something, right, to criticize me about, to try to make me feel bad. You're not going to succeed, okay? The reason you're not going to succeed in feeling bad is you're doing this from a horribly disadvantaged position. It's unwise, okay? So look, one of the reasons why we know that the gist of your comments is bullshit is because we're doing this. So I'm able to explain to you how you could make your argument stronger and make it more convincing. I will explain to you why your argument is weak, what it needs, what it's lacking. You continue to make arguments. When I present to you these informations about how your argument is failing, you see that as a failure in my argumentation style. Okay? As though we don't have to know anything about the argument being made to know whether it's impactful or not. But in fact, that's sort of the default position of the blind, right? They think, oh, well, we can have this argument without knowing what kind of arguments we're making or know anything about it. Well, you can have it, but it won't be productive. I mean, you're not going to help you find anything out that's useful or true, or more true than random. Look, what Metasoap says here is essentially, and it's really important we talk about this stuff, because when the laity, and that's what we in debate call non-debaters, the laity. Yeah, they say you have a lay judge, means they don't know anything. The laity doesn't know anything. Metasoap, you don't know anything about argumentation. So when you make the claim that my arguments are weak because they're just arguments about argumentation, you're making an argument about argumentation. You don't even know you're making an argument about argumentation. You don't know what kind of argument about argumentation you're making. And you don't know what impact it should have on the way people think about this. So why should we listen to you?